Nintendo Direct 2022, February 9th. I'm Matt. This is Horky. Horky, we did some predictions about Breath of the
We
Wild
certainly
2,
did.
and there's nothing about Breath of the Wild 2. We thought there'd be more Kirby. There was. Splatoon 3 got a release date. Demo for Project Triangle. They updated that, I believe. But anyway, let's go through it. So they start off with some Fire Emblem Warriors. Not much of an interest to me. Any interest to you for Fire Emblem Warriors?
No, but I mean, it seems like they're basically trying to funnel all of their or all these different properties into the Dynasty Warriors kind of game. I hear good things about the Hyrule Warriors version of it. So I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe it'll
I,
be. I think there are a lot of people who are going to love it. I think.
yeah, I mean, I've never really gotten into those, so I don't know if they're worth it. Sometimes I see those ones and I think like, oh my god, they just keep making so many of them. There's just this. It's just like sort of a cheaper way to, I don't know, make games where you've got some kind of a platform. If it works, if people like it and they're happy buying it, then yeah, whatever. It's just kind of like you're just kind of
It's
putting
like
different
asset reuse.
skins on it, right?
Yep. It's
So
asset reuse, and they're just kind of like, yeah, it's fine.
I would love to see another Fire Emblem game.
You
Not
know,
that.
actually,
Mhm.
is there a Dynasty Warriors like kind of thing? Like, is there a franchise that you would be really interested in seeing a Dynasty Warriors take on?
Okay, interesting. Dynasty
Like
Warriors,
Star Wars?
maybe Star Wars, maybe the Ninja Turtles, because
Yeah, that might work.
some kind of a martial arts thing. Yeah, I'd say yeah, Star Wars or probably Ninja Turtles. How about you?
Um, I don't know. I mean, you know what? Yakuza probably could work. It would probably I'd probably get tired of it very quickly, but I think it would work.
Maybe Braveheart. All right. So then there was the Advanced Wars 1 and 2 reboot camp. I've never played Advanced Wars, but it looks like my kind of a strategy game. I just love that split screen they do, where they just zoom in, and you can really tell they were making a lot of the small screen space they had back then, and you're going to have the same issue when you're playing Switch Portable. So it looks like a great reboot. I mean, it makes
Yeah,
perfect sense for a handheld game.
I played the originals when they were out. They're really good.
Yeah, I definitely think they're gonna hold up, and I'll probably hop in on those and try them. No Man's Sky, every time I've seen No Man's Sky, it's been running around some world trying to survive, and I always thought, oh, that's not really what I expected. This trailer really showed off a lot more of the space stuff and like the space fighting, and I thought, oh, this could actually be more like Privateer or Eve Online, sort of like doing different missions and flying around.
I didn't I
That
didn't know there
actually,
was like megs and stuff.
yeah, no, I didn't realize there was all this kind of like cool tech. And actually, this is the best trailer I've ever seen for No Man's Sky. That actually would make me want to give this a try.
I know. I was actually kind of thinking that, like, I was thinking, ooh, this looks pretty interesting. I kind of want to play it. And
Yeah.
then, like, I mean, it's on Game Pass, so I mean, you can play it anytime now. Um,
Good old Game
but
Pass.
like, I remember I kept looking at reviews of it, and conclusion I came to is that it has a lot of breadth, but it's very little depth. It's a very shallow kind of
Mhm.
game. Like, you don't really go into too much of or I don't know. I don't really I don't really know too much in depth about it, but from what I've seen, that was what the impressions were. Like, it's you can go in to do some like space stuff and fly around, but well, there's a lot of repetition and there's a lot of stuff where it's like you can get into it a little bit, but it doesn't really offer a whole bunch more than what it shows you.
Yeah, and we were talking about Stardew Valley, and you were sort of mentioning some similar criticisms to that. It's like a very wide game, but not super deep. And but I mean, Stardew Valley at least has like a bit of a story where everyone you interact with. So I'm wondering what's going to keep you going in Stardew Valley is Stardew Valley in No Man's Sky. Like what's the pull? Is it just to keep exploring? Is it to keep building up things? Is it to keep building things, crafting or whatever? That seems to be the tougher carrot.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say usually it's like they just keep trying to dangle the carrot a little bit farther
Mario,
out by
yeah.
progression trees and stuff.
Yeah. Mario Strikers Battle League, June 10th. This looks really good. I mean, most Nintendo sports games, they tend to be pretty solid to really good. I mean, you got 8 people that can play on a single console. If I was in my younger days when I was around more people that were playing video games all the time, this I think could be a house favorite. I think I might give this a chance. I like soccer games, but I like my sports games to be a little less simmy. And this, I like all the different slide
The
tackles.
Mario
And
Kart of sports game, basically.
yeah, and I like there's a sort of charge up shot you can do where it's the trailer says wait for your opponents not to be noticing. So that's pretty cool because then that would mean that when your opponent knows you have the ability to charge this thing up, they have to check you really closely. So it's sort of like a different element of strategy where they can't give you that time and space. So you're gonna score some ridiculous goal that gives you 2 goals. Yeah, I'd play that. Splatoon 3, Salmon Run Next Wave with a big giant salmon monster. Not really what I was expecting for Splatoon 3, but I think it looks like it fits. I like the color scheme of it. The music was like really off-putting, but I've been a huge fan of the first 2 Splatoon games, and I'm definitely in on this third one. What do you think?
Yeah, that first one, when I saw it, I was thinking like, is this going to be some kind of like tower defense kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it looks kind of maybe like a hybrid of that kind of style of game. I mean, because it's like you got waves and waves of enemies, but instead of towers, it's mostly just you taking it out, right?
Yeah, but you have your team.
So it's like a
with you.
tower defense, but without the towers.
Yeah, and in a way, you're sort of like probably trying to keep your area together, and you probably have towers of some kind and like different borders and stuff. And I think it looks like it could be really fun if you're going to have a co-op playing with your friends or an online team trying to keep this big giant Godzilla looking salmon monster away. I think it looks
it's like a logical progression into co-op gameplay for a game like that. It's a good version of the game to be included with the typical versus stuff.
Summer 2022. Front Mission first, a remake of the first game coming out this summer, and then the second one. I've never played Front Mission, but I've always loved the art style, and I love that genre of games, so I'm actually really excited to play.
When did the first one come out?
I think the original one was like late 80s or 90s, but it was the same artist as Metal Gear Solid, that like really beautiful kind of dramatized like pencil ink drawing style.
Yeah, I just wondered because I don't think I ever recall seeing much of that.
Oh no, actually, Front Mission was 1995.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
It seemed like a '90s era game, possibly, but I wasn't sure precisely what platform it originally came out on.
Originally on the Super Famicom, and then the PlayStation, and then the Wonder Swan color.
Oh, of course.
So yeah, I'm really pumped on that. Disney and Pixar are getting into the combat racing game. Strangely, with all of the success of Mario Kart, there are hardly ever any challengers to Mario Kart, and the biggest challengers possible are coming together with Pixar and Disney, trying to get all their characters together. I mean, they could put like Star Wars characters in here. They could put MCU characters in here. They own everything. They own Fox. They could put the Simpsons in here.
Sonic has some pretty good Mario Kart competitors, or at least they have had some.
Yeah, good. Good
this
games,
one's going to be free to play, so
yeah, and then free to play as well. So I wonder if they're going to be doing, like you were saying with Taiko no Tatsujin, are they just going to nickel and dime you and try to charge you for every little extra character they bring in?
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to pay this much to play as Iron Man, or as Boba Fett or Baby Yoda. It's called Disney's Speedstorm, and it's coming out this summer.
Yeah, typical monetization strategies, I'm sure.
I was pretty surprised to see it was free, which does make me worry about, what.
It didn't look half bad. I was actually looking at it thinking like, well, this is actually not. It looks pretty. I did see some like slow down, but I'm not sure whether that was like actually slow from the game or just from the video.
Well, that is something about Mario Kart, especially Mario Kart 8, is there's a lot going on. It's nice to look at, but it's like always 60 frames, really smooth. I think that's really important. Star Wars Force Unleashed, the PSP, PS2, and PS3 game, for some reason is coming out. I guess it says Star Wars, so you're going to try and make some money off it. It looks like a pretty basic remaster, nothing special.
Yeah, it's a very, there it is, kind of release.
Yeah, it's just sort of like, we're not going to do backwards compatibility, so if you want to buy this, you can. The Assassin's Creed Ezio collection with Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3 coming to Switch with touchscreen, HD Rumble, and enhanced on-screen display. I know they said it couldn't be done, but they've enhanced the on-screen display. I'm not an Assassin's Creed fan at all. Are you?
Yeah,
There's
I'm
no way
same.
I'm going to play this, but it looks like it was running kind of shitty from what I was looking at, but who
Is
knows?
isn't it funny? Like I'm thinking of like who's gonna buy this? Like the people who love Assassin's Creed probably love it for beautiful visuals,
Yeah.
which you're not gonna get on the Switch. I mean, you're gonna get a taste of it, you know. I guess
It's
if the Switch is the only platform you have, then
and
yeah,
you've been dying
maybe
to
that
play this
works.
game you've heard about for
Yeah,
12
yeah,
years. This is
yeah.
this is the genre that the Switch really lacks in. They can do almost everything else, but when it comes to like third person cinematic like top of the line
Action-y
AAA
games.
action games, they really struggle to do that because those games are really demanding. Like trying to render a bunch of grass and lots of detail and big worlds and like hay and hair and all that stuff. It's just you saw how terrible The Witcher looked. Assassin's Creed is older. I mean, it doesn't look too bad visually from what they're showing, but there are definitely some spots where the frame rate looked like it was really taking a crap. So
Yeah, it just seems like a who is this for kind of situation. I mean, and that's where I was mentioning in the stream at least one point. It's like, I guess there's a lot of people who will be getting into games, at a younger age, who are way younger than us. And this
mm-hmm.
is like, they're just getting into games now. And say they have a Switch and that's like their only system. And, maybe there's like a group of people who they see that and they think, yeah, I'll give it a shot. I mean, I don't know. You'd think there's enough other games that would be
Yeah,
diverting their attention.
yeah. I just think there's like 14,000 Assassin's Creed games. None on the Switch, but you just think like in 2022, if somebody actually did want to play Assassin's Creed, it's like they're trying to go for the nostalgia from 8 to 10 years ago. But like you say, this is going to be a really weird sell because anybody who likes these
Hmm.
games, you can probably play a better version on the PS3 as long as you don't
Or the
mind
Steam Deck.
Steam Deck. Yes, as long as you don't mind not having enhanced on-screen display. If you can
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you can
The
suffer.
Steam Deck lacks that, and we got to admit that's going to really drive it down.
It's the future of gaming. Um, so this Ezio collection, it comes with 2 bonus short films, DLC, yeah, DLC as well. SD Gundam Battle Alliance is coming out, and I don't really understand a lot of what I saw here.
It
I
looked fun, I guess.
Yeah,
I
it,
like some Gundam stuff,
it's
but I
not, it's
haven't
not
really
only
ever
the
played the
niche of it.
games.
It's not only the niche of it being a Gundam game. It's the SD version of it.
Yeah, yeah, I knew. Yeah,
Bandai
it's more
Namco.
like the Muppet Babies kind of version of
Yeah,
Gundam stuff.
it's it's got pretty interesting visuals. It looks like it's almost like a Destiny game. I see groups of 3 or 4 Gundams going up against bigger Gundams. This is going to be the
Yeah,
Destiny
they have.
killer.
I saw Big Zam. Big Zam is like the big green one that looks like a giant egg on legs.
Oh yeah, okay. Interesting. All right. It always comes back to Godzilla, big Gundam smashing through buildings. Um,
Yeah.
Now, hey, this was a surprise. Chrono Cross remastered. It'll have a no battle mode, no mention of speed up mode. It'll have a remastered soundtrack. It's coming out April 7th. I've always wanted to play Chrono Cross since I tried getting an illegal burned copy of my PlayStation back in high school. And because it was a multi-disc game, all it would do was taunt me by it would load the title screen and then it would just keep telling me to insert disc 1. And because I was a high schooler with no money, I just stared at the screen trying to will it to work and being disappointed. So I'd probably give this a shot. I mean, I love these old JRPGs. Going back to them, this one, this is a weird one because it was so anticipated. It was so awkward. It came out on the PlayStation as a sequel to a Super Nintendo game that
Oh
really
yeah,
had
yeah.
nothing to do with the original Super Nintendo game, looked nothing like it, had an incredible soundtrack. So I don't really know what to expect with this game, but I'm definitely willing to give it a try, especially that it has it looks like a very light remaster, but with the upgrades you want to see. What do you think?
Yeah, it looked pretty good. I mean, I never really had much of a um, encounter with it back when it originally came out. I was never a PlayStation person myself, so For me, it was something that just, I remember seeing it in magazines and, reading the name. But yeah, it
Yeah.
certainly looked good. I liked the original Chrono Trigger. So that art style looks kind of nice.
The only thing that worries me is the font. The font looks terrible. There's like this weird, gross HD mobile font they keep using. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. They showed off a lot of this. March 25th, this is coming out. It really looks a lot like Mario Odyssey, where you're
Yeah,
sucking things
maybe
up and becoming a car and becoming a vending machine. Some
it
some of
wasn't a
it looks
huge
great. Some of it
thing.
looks kind of cheap.
It wasn't like a huge vision into what it had to offer because like they've already shown like I want to say like 2 weeks ago or something like that or a few weeks ago they had some videos on the Nintendo channel about I don't know, it was like copy abilities and multiplayer co-op and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean they just showed like a little bit of stuff in this one, and I mean because it's coming out really soon. So yeah, I figured they just want to have like a little bit of a taste, and frankly, I don't want to have if I'm going to play the game, I'd rather not have too much
Mm-hmm.
shown off ahead of time.
Yeah,
But
because it's
it's hard to know like what are they gonna like how long is this game gonna be? Because I don't have any idea about that so far. I've just seen a few little things you can do.
mm-hmm. It's interesting because it's like he's in this dystopian future. So some of the scenes when I see a mall
Hmm.
or a town with this overgrown moss, I feel like I'm looking at The Last of Us, but it's Kirby running around, and I
It's
wonder
a
if
little uncanny valley
yeah, I wonder if they're gonna have
without
um
faces somehow.
yeah. I wonder if they'll do some satire of The Last of Us or like just some quick little in jokes about it. I wonder how on the nose they're gonna be or how clever they're gonna be with the comedy. It looks like it's some spots look kind of open, but for the most part, it looks like a pretty direct. It's 3D, but you're in a course, and some of the sections even become very straight 2D.
Yeah, I have a hard time getting super hyped about it right now because I'm a little bit worried about it. It just something in my gut tells me that this game it's gonna be like they're gonna like kind of jump the shark on stuff or something. As like with the car thing, it just a lot of that felt kind of gimmicky to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hate to say that about Kirby because I mean, I don't know, Kirby has always been pretty solid, I felt, but this one just sort of something rubs me a little bit weird about it.
Well, I
So
don't
I'm
know. I
kind of
don't know much
waiting
about the
to
older Kirby games, but this one seems to me like it's all about the transformations, and that can either be really fun because you're constantly changing up the gameplay if you can make those feel meaningful, or it can just feel like Balan's Wonderworld where you're gonna grab this and you're gonna transform, and this is the only way you can do it, and there's not gonna be much of a challenge. So they're gonna have to walk that line, which Nintendo's usually pretty good at, walking the line of making something fun and challenging and compelling without being frustrating or feeling tedious. But that'll be the big
well, I'll tell you
challenge.
that like the older Kirby's, a lot of times with the copy abilities, like once you've copied something, usually there's a few different things you can it's there's more than one thing you do with the ability. Like for example, when you look at the one it was preview today where he like sucks in the car or when he sucks in the vending machine, it looked to me like kind of have pretty like they funneled it down so that like the stuff you can do is pretty simple with each ability.
Mm-hmm.
Like with water, with the water, it's like, oh, you can suck in the water and you can spray it out. If you have the vending machine, you can shoot a can out, right? Whereas like with the older games like Superstars and such, when you swallowed an enemy and took their stuff, like you had a bunch of moves you could do along, not like to the extent of like a modern fighting game or anything for
Mm-hmm.
sure, but you had like a bunch of different little moves you could kind of pull off if you did inputs differently. So there was some complexity with each of the abilities. I just hope they don't make it so that there's no complexity, but the abilities are just spread out to a bunch of different enemies that can all do like maybe fewer things per
Well,
ability
that's
that you've got.
definitely how it looks. I mean, watching this trailer a few times, I've seen probably 25 to 30 different ways he can transform. I mean, and they all look like they're pretty simple. Go into a hammer mode, go into a gliding
Yeah,
mode. So yeah, it's going for
the
well,
Balan Wonderworld vibe kind of scares me.
yeah, not a great comparison, but we would definitely have faith in it. I mean, some of the like villains and the environments look like they're almost inspired by Psychonauts. There's quite a lot of variety, so we'll see if there's enough depth to support that variety. March
I sure hope
25th,
so.
Kirby. Well, what else is coming out here? Oh yeah, MLB The Show, which was a Sony exclusive for most of its life, and they lost that exclusivity. They're going to put it on the Switch, which is pretty interesting. I didn't see if it was going to be a cloud game because usually sports games are all about like how realistic can we make this, not the Nintendo Switch's strength. But they're going for it. April 5th, MLB The Show is coming out on the Switch, and you can do cross-platform progression, so you could play on your Nintendo or your Xbox or whatever, and you could keep progressing, never lose any progression. I don't know. Are you gonna give this game a try?
MLB?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I'm looking on the. I'm trying to look on the cover. Usually, games like this, they say something like "will require extra download" if you buy it physically, but I don't see it. I don't see any mention of cloud. So interesting. I always assume
The CD's just kind of like a freebie accessory you get.
Mm-hmm. It's just like a decorative Nintendo cartridge. All right. Here's a big surprise. Oh, right. Kingdom Hearts is coming out. I didn't even write this down in my notes. Yeah, a bunch of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, and it's cloud-based too. Not even like running natively.
And it has another awesome name, Integrum.
Notice they did not. I don't think they discussed price, did they?
No, they didn't.
Because what I've seen, like all of those games end up re-releasing for like a stupidly high price. I want to say they did on the Epic Store.
They always start off really high, and then they have a crazy low sale at some point later on.
It was like $70 or something. Like it was just ridiculously expensive to get the full set.
And and it appeals to people who probably like to collect. Because what else is there? Klonoa, a much more interesting looking platformer that's very colorful. Klonoa, I think.
A very unfortunate name, I feel.
Yes.
I don't know. It does not roll off the tongue.
How about Fantasy Reverie series? Does that roll off the tongue? Because that's what it's going to be called. This is from Bandai Namco. It's coming out July 8th. This looks nice. I mean, if this was a decent price, like say $20, I don't know if that's rude to suggest, but I would give this a shot for $20. I'd play some Klonoa. It's got a lot of love with a lot of people. I'd like to see if it's worth that.
Yeah, I feel like it looked nostalgia. Kind of had like a Yoshi jump with the floating wing ears that he's got.
Yeah, he's a cute little guy. You can see some of the holdovers from it being a PlayStation 1 game where there's a lot of like gimmicky sort of 2D to 3D perspectives and like putting the camera overhead. It kind of looks like what Sonic platformer never was.
Was there a bunch of collectibles like a Crash Bandicoot style, like what are the little like weird apple things or whatever?
Well, on the screen right now, I see that there are gems you can collect. There's
so it's got like the Spyro.
3 hearts for your life, and then there's like a whole bunch of little faces underneath that actually might be lives that continues. And then no, there's a bunch of stuff on the screen. So I don't know if it's at the right price. Portal
attracts.
Portal for some reason is coming to the Switch. I thought that the Steam Deck is coming soon, the Switch's first real competitor. So they're just trying to grab as many of these like PC classic games and make money off them before Steam has their own Switch killer.
This one actually makes Portal a lot of sense. I was looking at what Tyler McVicker of the formerly of the channel Valve News Network was talking about this. He's a real big Valve guy, or at least was for a while, and he brought up that they originally already released Portal, I think, collection on on the NVIDIA Shield, so like it's the same graphics hardware, or at least a similar architecture to what the Switch is running. Okay. So it's an easy like switch over to put it onto the Switch. Oh,
okay. So they just thought this is something easy we can do. We can make some money. This is a classic part of gaming. That makes perfect sense.
Yep. And it's highly likely we might see something similar happen with the Half-Life series as well, since they're also Source games.
Oh, that'd be great.
It sets a lot of precedent that now that we know that all this stuff is, now that one has come, it's opening the floodgates for other Source stuff coming, I think.
Team Fortress would be nice.
Yeah, but they won't support that.
No, that's too bad.
It's already on consoles, like old consoles, and those are dead, so.
Okay, but is Team Fortress itself dead? I mean, isn't that something that people still play and spend money on and buy hats?
On PC, sure, but like on consoles, it's dead. It's on Xbox, I think on like Xbox 360, Xbox. I don't know if it's on Xbox One through backward compatibility, but that stuff is dead without open without the community
Yeah.
modded support.
Well, I mean, Portal looks like a great portable game because you've got
Oh yeah,
because there's not really time limits, right? Like you could just you could pick it up, you could look around the room. Maybe some of them do have time limits, and then you just give it a think, give it a try some things out, and put it down. Do the rest of your laundry, put the load back in, and then pick it up, and like maybe you've come up with another idea. I'm definitely going to be getting these because I've never completed Portal, and
oh okay.
I don't want to play it on my PC. This would be a great game to play, like do a couple puzzles before bed or just when relaxing. I'm really excited for this, and they're not that long, so sometimes you start things on your Switch or portable, and you're worried about losing momentum on them. But
I'm
this
wondering if
is
they have the co-op support enabled for Portal 2,
they do. It's
because
going to
that's
be
something.
local or online,
Okay,
and
okay.
local split screen or online.
Yeah, hopefully that's smooth enough. I know some people. Well, I mean, I guess that's probably just going to be hosting it locally on some. I don't think it's going to be connecting to some kind of like official Nintendo server or anything. So it should be pretty performant, I would think.
Yeah, oh yeah, that'll be interesting. Actually, who's going to be in charge for that? But Nintendo's been good with their like. I mean, Splatoon runs flawlessly on Wi-Fi, so I would hope that they would come up with some kind of a. Now you've got me worried because
Well, I mean, there's no like. It's not like you have dedicated servers for Portal. It's like, if somebody plays Portal 2 in co-op, at least on PC, one player is hosting the game, the other player is not. So it's like it's your two computers communicating directly
mhm.
over the internet, directly to one another. It's not like going through some middleman, some kind of proxy somewhere. Um, Hopefully that's the same case here with the Switch version. Assuming like it's able to host if one of them's hosting, assuming that they're not going to have like struggle trying to do hosting
Right.
and playing in the same unit.
Yeah, it's only the two players, so it shouldn't be too much of a demand. Do you
Yeah, I
know
think it
much
should be
about
fine.
this Live Alive? This
No.
apparently, this was previously only available in Japan, and they're giving it the HD 2D, similar to Octopath Traveler, which is like the best way to do this. These 2D sprites coming out July 22nd. It looks like a really kind of quirky RPG, almost like a more serious Earthbound. It looks pretty good. I think it originally came out in 1994. So
Hmm.
that's pretty exciting. I like that they're bringing out some of these games that are like seem like a bit of a niche. So a lot of like niche JRPG fans have been wanting to play a proper English version of this. It looks pretty
Yeah.
interesting. It's got a lot going on. Really colorful. Really like they're fighting in the streets. There's like space stations. There's robots. There's dragons. It looks like there's like a I don't know time travel or kind of like a Chrono Trigger on steroids maybe, or like a mix between Chrono Trigger and Earthbound. So yeah, another big surprise: Wii Sports, one of the most popular Nintendo games of all time, finally
Yeah.
getting a Switch version. They're going to have the classic tennis, bowling, and chambara, which is sort of like sword fighting. Soccer with a huge ball like Rocket League. You can attach the Joy-Con to your leg for shootout mode kicking, and they'll patch it in later so that you can do the kicking in the matches. Badminton and volleyball are also going to be on this game, and then golf is going to come later. You can play locally on one system and online. It's coming out April 29th, and they're going to have an online play test planned. Are you excited for this, Horky? Do you think you're going to find a way to use this or play this?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of like the look of it, but yeah, I just wonder how well that mapping goes. Like, I like bowling. I
Yeah,
like real life bowling is fun, but trying to capture sort of the physics and like the impact of your throw on what the ball's doing.
right.
Motion controls. I don't know. I never got a Wii when that came out. I ended up with the Wii U first, and so I never really got into the Wii Sports thing. I don't think I've played it once.
Well,
Um,
my family had a Wii, and it was a big hit at the time, like 2000, 8 or 9 or whatever it was. I remember
yeah,
like
but
my stepmom playing, and just it was like multiple generations of people, but it didn't feel like
it's more of a
bowling.
novelty.
Yeah, it was very novelty-ish. I mean, you just kind of it was very limited motion, but it was fun enough, and it was simple. They picked the right games, and they worked within their strengths.
Yeah, so basically, like its strengths are playing toward like the party and family kind of aspect of it, right?
Hmm.
The multiplayer, not like if you bought this just to play by yourself, I feel
Yeah, I
like
think it'd
that's
be
got to
pretty
be the
boring.
wrong way to go.
Yeah. And the nice thing about it is they were all, well, a lot of them were these turn-based games, right? So you could play bowling and everybody could
Oh yeah,
play with
yeah.
one controller. You just pass it around the room, right? And everybody has their own little avatar, and it was really effective. And then they also have these like 2-player and 4-player ones. I think the badminton looks like a really good fit. I think the volleyball looks like a really good fit. It's all just about timing and then doing the 3 different motions that you need to do. I think golf works really, really well. So I'm actually, since Mario Golf, the latest one was so disappointing, I'm actually really looking forward to this. I'm assuming this is going to be full priced, big ass game, but
Yeah, are you gonna? You should. Or do you have Nintendo Switch Online right now, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so you need to try the demo and see how it goes because they have the demo coming up on like what was it like the 12th or something or
Or for the online playtest,
yeah
I
the
definitely will be.
playtest.
I definitely will try that. Okay. Taiko no Tatsujin Festival is coming out, and you were saying when we were watching this,
Oh yeah,
you don't like how they nickel and dime you with all the songs, and they said
timely.
they're doing a subscription. You'll have access to 500 songs. I like the way I tried this game on. I played the previous one on my Switch, and I like the style of it. I just think the sounds are so lackluster. Like taiko
What did you
drums,
use to listen when you were playing? Like were you using?
headphones.
Okay, I just wondered because I always felt like it was pretty decent when I was playing before, and but I mean I played on other systems in the past. Like I remember originally playing this game. It was released on iOS back when I had when I had an iPod Touch in like
Okay.
2010,
Hmm.
and I remember enjoying it back then. But
Well, what I did was I
I
just
haven't
turned
really
down the
played it
sound
much later.
effects and so I could more feel them rather than really hear them, because I just found it was like
Uh-huh.
the sounds were like really kind of clicky and just they didn't really have that oomph to them. The music was good, and I like the way, for the most part, I like hitting them. I don't really like the one where you just hit it as fast as you can because it doesn't seem to reward any kind of rhythm.
Does it play with touch controls or is it
All of
like
them.
specific? Because I was gonna say, I remember when I played on on a capacitive touchscreen using my iPod at the time. I remember that felt really fun because it was very like it felt very you know uh visceral to be doing that. You're sitting there drumming on it basically, right? That
Breaking
was
your
pretty good.
screen, yeah. Yeah, you can do button controls. You can do touchscreen,
Oh,
or
the
you
motion
can
controls too, right?
you can do motion controls. Yeah, where you're drumming
Okay.
away. There's going to be a paid in-game
That sounds
subscription
kind of fun.
service with over 500 songs. Getting those subscriptions off you. I'll probably give it a try.
Was
Um,
it is the base game free or is it something you have to pay for?
they didn't mention that. I
Because I mean, that's the funny thing. Because like most of those kind of games usually go free to play, and then they just like make you pay for
well,
subscription fee
yeah,
or a
yeah,
bunch of songs.
because like the base game is nothing special to look
Yeah,
at.
exactly.
Hmm.
You don't get a whole bunch of like stuff to begin. I don't know. You get like a little bit of stuff, but usually just enough to hook you to pay for song packs and stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would assume I was pretty sure the one that they already have on the Switch is you have to pay for it. I want to say.
There was a demo for the last
Yeah,
one on the Switch. Like a pretty
but
long
and it makes
demo.
sense. Like in they have to include some stuff. So if you were to buy the game like on a console, like on a cartridge, that you'd be able to play it without having an internet connection. You'd at least have some stuff to work with.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
that's so
It's their
annoying. Yeah, they've been
directive, you
trying to
know.
verify that. Yeah, because I got the original Tyco. There was a demo, and then it was on sale for, God, it was must have been like $5 or less or something. So I'm always up for a rhythm game and give it a shot, and it was pretty good. So
Maybe try the one on Xbox because that's on Game Pass right now.
I think it's the same one.
Yeah, to give you a taste of like see if it sounds any different on another console.
Yeah, maybe that'd be interesting. I mean, I heard the sounds on this trailer, and they don't sound. They just don't sound like big and deep enough, and or even like musical with the songs, because you're like drumming
Mm.
along to this J-pop song, and it's just like dong dong dong, click click click, dong
Yeah,
dong click dong dong.
actually, That's funny that you mentioned that because I was thinking when they were listing off like example songs you could play to, right? They listed Megalovania um from what's it the
Oh, Undertale.
yeah from Undertale, and I was thinking for a minute I was thinking if I heard that I don't know that I'd actually be able to guess the song from that.
Yeah, yeah,
It just
true. It didn't really jump
it
out.
was just a little crazy, like you know.
Yeah, that's the thing that holds it back. Um, Project Triangle is getting a new demo. You can play up to level 3. Project Triangle, similar to Octopath Traveler, the same visual style, but looks like it's more of a CRPG rather than just a regular JRPG where movement means a lot more. I'm very intrigued by this. I love the visual style so much that just the lighting and the way the sprites look like sprites instead of those like weird creepy like the terrible remasters they did of the Final Fantasy ones on the mobile and PC. If you play this demo to the end of Chapter 3, you can transfer your save data to the full game once purchased.
Oh, that's kind of nice. I feel like we've been hearing about this game for like 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I know it's been less than that, but it's like it just feels like it's been forever. And I guess part of that's probably pandemic related, but still.
Well, that's what I was thinking with the Nintendo Switch Sports. I wonder if they actually had that ready around 2020, and then when the pandemic happened, they're like, "Oh, well, we don't want to put this out when no one's visiting."
Yeah,
So maybe they
it's
held
very
off, and then they
possible.
thought, "This is never going away. Now's the time."
Polish it up more while we have a little bit more time.
But yeah, Cuphead, the delicious last course, June 30th. New character, Miss Chalice. I really enjoyed Cuphead. It's a game that I was very happy to play once. It's so challenging that I feel like I'd never play it again, or at least take a long time before I'd give it another shot. But it's just such an incredible accomplishment that they've made the way these games look. I mean, just drawing in that style is an accomplishment, and then to make it playable, it's a pretty magical game. So, but
Yeah, we already saw a good bit about it back in I think during the Jeff Keighley's Game Fest thing
mm-hmm.
back in December.
Yeah,
And yeah, good.
it looks like they're not really adding much new. Okay, there's a new character. Maybe
Yeah,
a
it's
few.
nothing unique to the Switch, I don't think.
No, I don't know if the on-screen display's been enhanced. Metroid Dread is getting a free update. If you find that game frustrating, they're adding a mode where one hit causes a game over.
I gotta admit when they announced that, and I was thinking first I was thinking, okay, oh, Metroid Dread is coming to with a new update, and I was thinking, oh, this sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
I still have that. I wonder if it's gonna be something. Oh, one hit kill. Oh, okay. Boss rush. Well, guess I'm not going to be doing that.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's a rookie mode. They also
It
threw
looks
in.
cool though. I know there's an audience for that kind of stuff, and you know, I can appreciate that. Like that's going to be great for someone who wants to really just do like a really love the game, just really wants to play through this stuff again.
But is that really a mode you need to develop? A one-hit mode? Isn't that just? Couldn't you? Is that not the sim? I'm not a
Well,
game programmer. Is not the most simple thing in the world to do.
yeah, yeah, be very easy. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that would have to be. I'm the game. It's not like a single line change in the code for sure. There's going to be a bunch of stuff where you have to like to a bunch of trivial changes, just a ton of trivial changes, and possibly big ones depending upon if they coded it up in a way that was like really unintuitive or something.
Well, that's coming out April 2022. Earthbound. What a tease this was, especially when they
Yeah,
show Earthbound on the Super Nintendo, and then they show Earthbound on the NES or Mother,
yeah.
and then you think
That's.
one, two, oh my God, is this it? Is it finally happening? The big game
I
everybody
assume
wants.
at this
No.
point they've got to be doing something about it. I mean, didn't like either Reggie or Bowser uh say they made some kind of like tweet about it or comment about it at some point?
I don't know. So
I mean, I could have sworn there was something about Mother 3 like way back. And yeah, that'd be great if I really look forward to them ever putting that out. But at this point, it's like you've already got a fan translation online. You just
mhm.
play it on a emulator. Like, unless they were to remaster the thing,
So
which I don't know that would serve much of a purpose. But
what's the deal? You had Mother came out in '89, Mother 2 '94, Earthbound '95. So is Earthbound Mother 2?
yes,
And then Mother 1 and 2 came out 2003, and then Mother 3 in 2006. And then Mother 3, I'm assuming, is only Japanese, and that's the one everybody wants?
yeah. I mean, it's because Mother was NES, so it was very um, not archaic, but I mean, it was NES, so it was limited in terms of what it could do. And
Mm-hmm.
Earthbound 2 SNES um, had I had a lot more improvements visually and in terms of gameplay.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I tried to stay kind of dark about Mother 3 because I've yet to play it myself actually. But
Available later
it was on
today.
DS. It was on DS, I believe. I don't know. I want to say it was originally targeting SNES, but then like ended up like getting pushed across to DS or something somehow.
2006? Holy moly. Okay.
And it looks like it's supposed to be pretty good, although I don't know. It's one of those weird games where you feel kind of disconnected after playing the other one so far apart. Where I don't know. I think the characters might be a little weird, or I don't know. I'm not really sure too much about it. Like I said, I tried to stay fairly dark about it. I just know Earthbound is such a great game. It'd be really interesting to see what Mother 3 is like.
So apparently,
And
Mother 3 was originally slated for the N64 and its 64
oh, N64.
DD.
That's right. It was originally an S64.
They canceled that in 2000. 3 years later, they did it on the Game Boy Advance alongside a re-release of Mother 1
That's
and 2.
right. Not yes. It was an Advance. Yeah.
And they got rid of 3D and went back to 2D. It was a bestseller upon its release. Huh. Cool.
Yeah, and then you had because you remember you had Ness come on to Smash Brothers
Yeah, that's right.
on N64.
Just taunting.
So I assume there was
taunting the
probably
fans.
some relics of that. Relics of that coming from the development of Mother 3.
Oh yeah, good point. All right. I'd take Earthbound for a spin on my Super Nintendo. Then we had a sort of a flurry of some other games. Zombie Army 4: The Dead War, coming out April 26th.
We've all been waiting for it.
Getsu Fumaden: Undying Moon from Konami, available later today. This actually looks kind of interesting. It's like a really dense, two-dimensional. It's God. It almost looks like a mix of like God of War and Ninja Gaiden, but 2D. It actually looks really cool. I don't know if this is an older game that's re-released or a port or a remake or something. Seems like every game is that, but they didn't really spend a lot of time looking at this game. But the visuals are beautiful, like very painterly, like watercolor style almost, and a lot of like Japanese imagery, Japanese demons, and Japanese picket fences, and it kind of looks like you're in a painting most of the time. It's actually stunning looking now that I've got a better chance to look at it. So that is, what the hell is that one called? Getsu Fumaden: Undying Moon, and that is out today. And then there was one called Demon Slayer: Kimetsu no Yaiba: The Hinokami Chronicles from Sega, available June 10th. This looks like it's got anime cutscenes and maybe a 2D fighter. They're not really showing a lot of gameplay at all. Mostly just cutscenes. I think it's a fighter. Lego Brawls is coming out June 2022. Looks like a side-scrolling Final Fight brawler. I thought it was actually going to be like a Smash Brothers competitor, but I don't think they have you don't have the people unless you can make a Star Wars Lego Smash and then cycle through all the properties and stuff. 2 Point Campus is coming out. Available May 17th. Also a Sega game.
A lot of gimme games like that where it's like they're all released on other systems and now they're just like giving release date updates.
Yeah, here's the worst version that's probably going to cost the most, and it's coming out on Switch. Mario Kart, they remastered a whole bunch of courses. This was a bit confusing.
This is cool.
How they did this, because so it's going to be $25 for one of the, I believe, the first wave, or is it going to be 8? So it's 8 courses to be released at a time over 6 waves by the end of 2023. Isn't it weird that they're using terminology like waves and booster in this time of COVID? It's like
I was thinking in this is like Yeah, I didn't really. I want to see more clarification on the pricing. To see, because it's like if you're paying $25 for 40 levels, that would be great.
But if you're
Well,
paying
except
25
you
for
say
8,
waves, right?
yeah.
6 waves. What you said 8 for this one. I mean, that'd be like 48 if they're set evenly. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's going to look like price wise. To see more about that,
Well, and
but
then
that is
also
pretty big.
that is if it's the $25, and then also if you get the expansion to the Nintendo Switch Online. So Nintendo Switch Online, if you buy it
Oh
for a
yeah,
year, is $25, and it's $65 if you get the expansion pack, which will give you the Nintendo Switch Online of being able to play online the NES games, the Super Nintendo games, and the expansion will give you the N64 games, the Sega games, and
it's just so weird to
then this
dump that in
DLC.
there. Like they're just levels. It's just like level data.
Well, and
It's just
they're
okay.
remaking these old nostalgia levels, which is
Yeah,
I'm ashamed to say I do
I
like
do
when they do
like it.
that. When you're
I
playing the
actually
Super
do like the
Nintendo
look of it.
courses remade Mario Kart 8, it's pretty magical.
I just want to be able to have like a comprehensive pack where you get everything. I don't have Mario Kart 8, and I'd like to have the new tracks as they come out, but I also don't want to be like $25 6 times over.
Oh, that
You
would
know,
feel horrible. Oh, I don't think. But wait a minute. But if you think of the expansion pack, I mean, the expansion pack is okay. If $25 gets you regular online, it's 65. So it's a $40 for the. But that's like isn't that released over a couple of years? This let me look up
yeah,
this wave thing.
yeah,
By the end of 2023.
yep. That
So
really had me wondering about the next if they're going to do anything with the next Mario Kart, because like or does that represent like a good boundary for the next Mario Kart?
yeah, maybe
If they're
just come out after that wave.
Yeah, because like if why would you release extra tracks at that point in time if you already have a new Mario Kart coming out? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
or maybe it'll be
Like
an
nobody's gonna want to buy it.
upgraded Mario Kart like platform that'll incorporate all this older stuff.
So I was like looking into this a little bit yesterday after we had our little prediction thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw that there were apparently there's been this big like rumors of what they call uh, Mario Kart Crossroads,
Okay.
and it essentially sounded like they're going to take the Smash Bros. Strategy of incorporating all of these different franchises, more of that instead of going deep in like the into the Nintendo Mario world. They're going to pull in like, oh, here's Star Fox, and here's you know I don't know, Captain Falcon or whatever,
That makes
and
sense.
bring them into it and try to rope more non first party franchises even into the like hell, we get a Master Chief. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that. I think it's a smart way to go. It actually does seem clear at the end of this trailer that it's going to be $25 US for the 48 courses, waves 1 through
Okay,
6.
that's great. So yeah, that's pretty worth it. I would kind of hope that there's a pack or of some sort that you could get, like for somebody like me who doesn't have Mario Kart,
Mm-hmm.
you could get the pack and then be able to get all the levels included as well, like a platinum edition,
Mm-hmm. Mario Kart Deluxe Deluxe.
a before a Mario Kart 9 edition.
Right. It's this game must sell so well for them because it's never on sale, and they're just releasing more ways
Oh
for you
yeah.
to buy it. Every time I think I'm going to get it, I go, yeah. I just think of that Donkey video where he's showing how when you give everyone 2 items, it just means there's
Oh yeah.
more times you're going to get hit by an item that you can't control, and how annoying that is. And I
Yeah,
have it, and I have
ultimately
it
it's
for the
just
Wii U, so
you're just sitting in like you're just in a racing game, and at the end of it all, I mean there's some strategy to be had, but it's like just rolling the dice at the end. It's like, okay, I played this and sat for however many minutes for the race, and at the end you just randomly get to decide who wins.
yeah, it's like the taxi racing in Yakuza 5. Save
And
the
it's like
booster to the end.
not that I want it to be like hyper competitive or anything, but you know it'd be nice to have it be a little bit more deterministic.
Yeah, it's like the problem with Mario Party. Sometimes you lose Mario Party just because they make up a bunch of random bullshit rules that were like so arbitrary. Like you won the most mini games, you got the furthest on the board, and then your friend's like, they stepped on the most blue squares, they get a star. Their birthday's next, they get 2 stars. You lose.
They're a Libra. They get 3 stars.
Libras get everything. And then they ended off with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 coming out in September.
It wouldn't be a Nintendo Direct if they didn't end it on some kind of anime franchise.
God, they love their anime franchises. They must sell really well. It takes a lot for me to get into one of these anime franchises because I find they look so similar all the time that I just don't care. I think, how many of these tropes can you go through? I'm sure that the anime fans out there, I don't know, there's so much more to it. There's so much more depth and everything. But I don't know. This one looks okay. It looks like a bit of an evolution to what they've been doing.
Yeah, I know Donkey's not a big fan of it. I think he's going to probably trash it a little bit in whatever video he responds with it. I'm assuming he does make a direct video on this one.
Yeah, well, it doesn't seem like his kind of game. He doesn't really like big, slower games. But I mean, I guess it's not really for him, right? It's for Xenoblade Chronicles fans,
yeah,
JRPG fans.
We had some discussion when we were watching because we were talking about like the design of the worlds. You know, they look really pretty from like just from like if you stand back, you don't get too close to them. It looks really nice, right? But then it's like that kind of stuff where, you know, maybe due to the limitations of the console, you'll get a little too close to stuff and you start seeing that it's like, oh, once you get up close, it's like it's low res textures. Mm-hmm. There's not really like a lot to do.
Nothing to interact with.
From far back, look at all these places I can explore.
Yeah, it's just sort of a path and a track you can walk on with a nice looking background. It's kind of like being in a pre-rendered background in a way.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like at a theme park or something where you have like a backdrop, you know?
Yeah.
To like increase the ambiance, but it's not meant to be approached, right? It's just there just to make it look larger than life.
Yeah, you know, looking at the different backgrounds and stuff that they go to, it looks like there's a nice variety and a bit of some sci-fi looking stuff, and I might give this one a shot. These games, they tend to have a nice following, and they have great music from what I've heard on the Top 20 show. So the third one,
aren't they super long?
Yeah, they look really long, and I always hear reviews like the first half is great, and then the second half just takes like a big dump all over you. They look like they're hard to pace, and whatever kind of gimmick they bring in, whether you're going to be using like a big mech or something, or I don't know. Maybe I'm confusing it with a different Xeno RPG. Xenoblade Chronicles X. I can't keep them straight. All right, well that was the direct overall. What did you think of it?
It was a mixed bag for me. Like I was pretty interested with the Portal thing, the fact that they're bringing Source games over like that. I think that's very interesting. Just even not necessarily from a Portal perspective, but just from they have Source games now perspective. That opens up a lot of opportunities, you know, for other games to come in.
Yeah,
and then you got, you know, other a lot of games that I'm not so interested in either. So, you know, kind of a mixed bag for me.
I thought that this was pretty solid. There were I definitely left this direct interested in purchasing a few of the smaller games, a few of the mid-level games, old classics, and like ones that I hadn't checked out before in a nice, handy, convenient Switch package, as long as they're not stupidly expensive. I mean, I'm actually interested in No Man's Sky, and you've also got Chrono Cross and Front Mission, and then you get some bigger games like Mario Strikers. And,
I was kind of hoping they were going a little bit more in depth on those first party titles.
Yeah,
you know, it felt like they went pretty light on Splatoon 3 or Mario. Well, Mario Strikers had enough for like a sports game, right?
Yeah.
But like Kirby, you know, well, it's coming out so soon that probably don't want to reveal too much. But I felt like I could have used maybe a little bit more of an overview. What else there is to do in Kirby. Yeah. Or how the levels are paced, like how the world is set up, like how do you go about, you know, your adventure in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And
Not
then for
just
Splatoon 3, it's just I just wanted more to see more like what's going on. Maybe more expectation things.
Yeah. I thought the Splatoon 3, it was so kind of hyper focused on certain aspects that it almost felt like you're gonna have all the other stuff in there too, right? This is just a mode, or is this a single player game, or they didn't kind of give you like a big chunk of it. I don't know. What I do like though is the way Nintendo does these conferences is they do them really fast. They don't. It's not like when you're watching an Ubisoft or an EA one, and they're like, now we're gonna do what we think is a meaningful montage and like interview with our developers and all this bullshit, and they're all pretending to talk about like their love of the Assassin's Creed franchise, and you're like, just get out of here. Like CEOs trying to get their moment of fame on the stage, and nobody wants to listen to them, and like there's no cringy like celebrity introductions, and which that stuff can be kind of fun because it's live. But I do like that Nintendo just shows you games, and they almost always show you gameplay, and they don't really try to trick you and they're always immediately putting something on the screen that'll say like, this is not gameplay. Whereas no one else does that. Like you watch a Halo trailer and it's just a CGI cutscene, and then they go, Halo's coming. That's it.
But there was definitely, I realized exactly what it was that was so strange for me about Splatoon 3 is it felt like I was watching the promo for a DLC for a game that would already come out.
Yeah, an expansion pack of some kind.
That's what was so strange, because it's like the game's not even out, and it's like we're going into this sort of what feels like an extra new thing that they're adding on.
It did feel so different. But Splatoon 2 really felt like an expansion pack to Splatoon 1, where it was like obviously built on the same engine and everything. They just added some more courses and changed up the weapons. So I feel like I'm going to get a lot of use out of my Switch, and before they switch over to the next thing, it would have been nice to know if they had any plans for a sequel to the Switch that would be backwards compatible. What are they going to do?
Yeah, 2 Switches taped together.
Yeah, their classic strategy. Or like they did with the GameCube was like 2 Wii's put together, and the other way around. The Wii was 2 GameCubes put together. The Wii was like 2 Wii's put together.
And you don't put 2 Wii's together. Bad idea.
And you got yourself a Wii. Yeah, and then some Breath of the Wild would have been nice, or just any information about it. Just they really didn't even,
Mario movie like
hint at that. Oh yeah, the Mario movie.
They were pretty upfront about what they were going to include in this. They did say mostly first half stuff.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping for like at least like some like a single sentence, about something like that. Like, look forward to our Zelda Direct in summer, that kind of thing.
Yeah, anything at all. It did respect your time. I mean, it was about 45 minutes. They really flew through everything. They spent most of the time on the bigger games, and they had like a quick fire through of some third-party stuff. So overall, it was an informative show, and there were a few surprises. Nothing groundbreaking. People expect a lot from these, and especially Nintendo fans get themselves so excited for.
It's been tough the past couple of years because COVID really threw a wrench into everything. So it's like all this stuff, they were going a little bit better cadence probably before that, and so now it's like everything's getting held up in the works, and we're just wondering, when are we going to get to it? When is it going to come out?
All right. Well, that was Nintendo Direct.
Oh, I think we'll probably see something. Like, I know we've been seeing a lot of rumors about E3 not happening this year, which, I wouldn't be surprised. I think we can probably at least hope to see some kind of summer direct, I hope.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think they'll have a huge one. I think they still like that timing and the tradition of it.
Yeah.
Because you want to set up Black Friday and Christmas.
Yep.
So that's the best thing to do. But E3 is all about jamming a bunch of stinky people together, and that just really doesn't work. So, and Sony saw the writing on the wall a long time ago, and even Nintendo did. They were doing their stuff virtually before anyone else started dropping out a few years ago. So we'll get a big one this summer. Anyways, thanks, Horky. Talk to you later.
Yeah. See ya.